All right, let's dive into the world of Freddie Mercury, specifically during Queen's peak. We're going beyond the hits everyone knows. Using biographies, interviews, and some industry analysis, we'll uncover what made Freddie so captivating, on stage and off.
It's interesting, right? Because everyone knows him for that flamboyant stage presence. But the sources paint a picture of someone, well, navigating that public persona and his private life, all while dealing with the pressures of fame.
Yeah, it's a lot. Okay, so think mid-70s. Queen has a couple albums out. They're touring, opening for acts like Mott the Hoople. But from what I'm reading, Freddie's already got bigger dreams.
Oh, for sure. He knew Queen was destined for more than just that supporting act. And you can really hear that ambition, especially with Bohemian Rhapsody, the game changer. Just imagine pitching a 6-minute song, no chorus, a mix of rock and opera to your label.
It's hard to imagine a world without it now. But it was a huge risk. Even Elton John was skeptical, from what I read. Thought it was way too long for radio.
Oh, the label executives were terrified. They predicted a flop. But Freddie, he was adamant. He had this vision. And thank goodness he stuck to his guns. Because that song, total phenomena.
Not just a hit either. Scientists actually analyzed it, declared it the catchiest song in pop music history. What is it about that song that gets stuck in your head?
I think it's more than just catchy.
Right.
It's this fusion of styles. Think about the sections. You've got the a cappella intro, the ballad, the operatic part, and then that hard walk finish. It's like almost like a mini opera in a pop song. Each section building on the last one, creating this whole emotional arc.
Plus the production, too. All those layered vocals, the harmonies, the way they basically use the studio itself as an instrument. Groundbreaking for the time.
Absolutely. And we can't forget the video. Revolutionary for its time, helped the song reach even greater heights, like a visual representation of all that creativity, Freddie's vision.
Speaking of his vision, you mentioned glam rock. How did that influence Queen, their look, the stage presence?
I think Freddie took the theatricality of glam rock and just amplified it. Costumes, makeup, the whole stage show, designed to be a spectacle, larger than life. He was challenging what a rock star was supposed to be. Embracing this flamboyant, almost androgynous style. Incredibly bold for the time.
And it wasn't just the visuals. His voice, Freddie's voice, a force of nature, going from these tender, vulnerable moments to these powerful, soaring vocals. Wow. It was, wow.
Absolutely. That range and the control. And he used it. He wasn't afraid. He poured every ounce of emotion into those performances. You could feel it, that energy in the audience, commanding the stage like no other.
Bohemian Rhapsody and A Night at the Opera. That album, they made Queen superstars, sold out stadiums, hit after hit. They were unstoppable.
And they followed that with another masterpiece, A Day at the Races, then News of the World. You know, with the anthems, We Are the Champions and We Will Rock You. It's wild to think they were almost designed to be sung by thousands.
What? Deliberately crafted. I've never heard that.
Well, We Are the Champions. That one was inspired by Freddie's love of football. He envisioned a victory anthem, something fans would sing after their team won. And then We Will Rock You, simple beat, that call and response. It was meant to be participatory. Get the whole audience involved, create unity through the music.
Wow. I always thought those songs were just naturally catchy. But to think there was intention behind them, like he understood how music could connect people on a massive scale. Yeah. Brilliant.
It really does. Speak to his genius, I think. As a songwriter, a showman, he got it, Music transcends language. It creates these shared experiences. And that's what's so fascinating about them. Not just music, but experiences. Moments people would remember, cherish.
So true. But then, after those massive hits, they go and do Hot Space, a disco album.
Yeah.
Even for Queen, that was bold.
Yeah, definitely a risk. And, well, it didn't land with everyone. Especially in the U.S., their American fans, the ones who loved the hard rock, they were confused. Some even felt alienated. This wasn't the Queen they knew.
Seems like almost a clash of cultures, right? Because here, Hot Space wasn't seen as that radical.
Exactly. The UK audience, they were more receptive to the experimenting. Maybe because they knew Queen's influences already. But in America, they were the hard rock anthem band, Tougher Sell. And that cultural disconnect, well, it got even bigger with the video for I Want to Break Free.
Oh, yeah. The one where they're in drag, like a parody of a British soap. Here, hilarious. Classic Queen humor. But across the pond, not so much.
Too provocative. Too much for American audiences back then. MTV even banned it. Hurt their image, their sales.
One video. Totally different reactions. Yeah. Shows Freddie was always pushing, wasn't he? Musically, visually, challenging the norms. But with that fame came the scrutiny. His personal life, too.
He was private, Freddie, but these sources, they give glimpses. And one of the biggest relationships, of course, was Mary Austin.
Yeah. Even after they weren't romantic anymore, she was always there.
Yeah.
Confidante, his rock, someone he could just be himself with.
And their bond, it went beyond labels. He even left her a lot of his estate. His Garden Lodge mansion. Says a lot.
It's a beautiful testament to their connection. Lasting friendship, love, however you define it. But while Mary was positive, there were others. Not so great. Paul Prenter, Freddie's personal manager.
Prenter, controversial figure, often portrayed as a bad influence, the enabler, for the drug use, the more reckless side of things.
He even sold stories to the tabloids. I read that. Betraying Freddie for money. Awful. To have someone so close do that.
That's the dark side, isn't it? Fame attracts those who want to profit. Off of talent, vulnerability.
Makes you wonder how Freddie had any privacy at all, constantly fighting to keep those worlds separate, public and private.
And that struggle, it's even more, poignant, given what was happening, the 80s, the AIDS epidemic.
Scary time, especially for the gay community.
Yeah.
New disease, so much fear, misinformation, stigma, discrimination everywhere.
And it's in that context that Queen does Live Aid, 1985, one of the most iconic performances ever.
Live Aid was huge for Queen, for Freddie. A global stage, a cause, and they just blew everyone away.
That 20-minute set, legendary. The energy, how tight they were, the connection with that audience.
Yeah.
Magic, pure magic.
And people thought Queen was past their prime. But Live Aid put them right back in the spotlight. Reminder of what they could do. Those moments, no one else created them.
And what's incredible, Freddie was already showing symptoms of AIDS, not public knowledge yet, but he gave everything to that performance, knowing, maybe, it could be one of his last.
Heartbreaking,
Yeah.
Inspiring, dedicated to his art, resilient. That spirit in the face of that, wow.
And that spirit, it didn't fade. After Live Aid, Freddie wouldn't let his illness define him, kept creating, recording, pushing boundaries.
He did so much, even while sick. That collaboration with Montserrat Caballé, the opera singer, what a pairing.
Pure magic, that one. Showed a different side of Freddie. His love of opera, blending genres, the Barcelona album, so beautiful, a real testament to his versatility.
Queen never shied away from trying new things. Hard rock to disco to opera.
Yeah.
Always fresh, exciting.
That's part of it, right? Their legacy. They weren't just one thing, always evolving, pushing themselves. That resonated with so many people.
Freddie kept performing, recording, right up until the end. He didn't even announce he had AIDS until November 91, just the day before.
Keeping it private, that says a lot. Freddie wanting control, protection from the media. It was a different time. AIDS carried such a stigma.
It's tough to think about. The pressure he must have felt. But even then, his creativity, it never went away.
His death in 91, 45 years old, a huge loss for music, for everyone. But his legacy, it lives on, inspires people all over the world.
And it brought attention to AIDS, helped change how people saw it, challenged the stigma.
And the other members of Queen, Freddie's friends, they started the Mercury Phoenix Trust to honor him, supporting AIDS research, initiatives around the world. Beautiful way to keep his memory alive.
And the tribute concert at Wembley, 1992.
Wow.
All those huge stars celebrating Freddie's life, his music.
Unforgettable. Elton John, David Bowie, George Michael, so many. The whole music world coming together shows the impact he had on everyone.
The awards, the recognition, it hasn't stopped. There was a Google Doodle for his birthday.
Yeah.
Queen's music was in the Olympics closing ceremony, 2012.
That's what I mean. His music, his persona, it's enduring, captivates new generations, goes beyond time, beyond cultures.
Freddie Mercury, a true icon. He challenged everything, embraced who he was, created music that still moves people, shows us it's okay to be different,
Yeah.
to stand out, to shine. Even when things are tough, the show must go on.
Freddie's story, it reminds us, behind the performance, the personality, there's a whole human being. We might not ever fully understand it, but he makes us want to celebrate that, embrace our own, vulnerabilities or strengths, find the courage to express ourselves authentically, like he did.
As we wrap up, I'm curious, what sticks with you? His music, his bravery, that stage presence. What about Freddie keeps inspiring you? Whatever it is, hold on to it. Let it spark your own creativity. And remember, the show must go on.